Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Happy Good Friday. Um oh man. There are some reasons why Good Friday is always special to me, most of which shall forever remain unknown and anonymous, save for just a couple people. All right. Thank you very much. And Alma Andrews, you were here first. Thank you so much for being first. Thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciated. Followed by Black Queen, Lydia Washington, Perlina Answer, Alma Andrews again. Let me see. Janice Goodrich, Francilia Mosley, Karen with a C, and of course, Gwen Daniels, Compton Cali Gal, Little Mac, um, Fatima Owen, Black Pearl, Lola Love, Thula Thula, Hope's Garden, and Carolyn Sowers. And I'm just going to scroll and make sure there are no super chats or super stickers or anything else that I need to be aware of. Connie Balmer! Freezing cold today. Yeah, it's kind of chilly here for some reason. But I have to tell you, um, back in 2018, that was the year that the Sussexes got married. And that was the April, which I was packing and um, leaving to go to London. And I recall that we had snow just a couple of days before I left. And I was like, I cannot believe it's snowing. And it's April, whatever it was. So, yeah, we may even still have a little snow left in this season. So we'll see. Okay, so I'm scrolling and scrolling. Wow, big conversation before I got here. Uh, Most Shannon, you're the last one in. All right, thank you. Jacqueline Davies, Adrian Burrow. All right, very cool. So let me get this up here. Um, every so often, without any provocation, I find myself in love again. You ever just fall in love without any like reason, or all of a sudden you find yourself pining for someone you don't even know? And it's just like, I don't know you, but I think I'm in love. Like the lady there in the middle. Um, do you guys know who she is? The Royal Nightmare? Or as Barbara Walters would say, the Royal Whitewear. The Royal Mightwear. Yeah, there you go. That's the Barbara Walters. The Royal Nightmare. The Royal Nightmare. Okay, I'm sorry. Nightmare. The Royal Night. I'm sorry. I keep trying to do Barbara, but I'm doing it right. So, okay. I'm not channeling Barbara properly today, so I'm going to move on. So take a look here. The Time 100 list. Well, Harry and Meghan were not number one or number two. They're, I believe, numbers 3 and 4, or is it 4 and 5? I know they're in the top five. So I know you guys, I am disappointed too. Or as Barbara Walters would say, I am disappointed too. But even though I am a bit disappointed, uh, oh, thank you, Lydia and Black Queen 3 and 4. Thank you so much. Wow. Out of all, what was it, like almost 2 million votes and 3 and 4? Okay. Okay. So let us put this into perspective. Um, okay. Okay. I know how to explain this. Not that it necessarily needs explanation, but listen to this. The world's largest democracy also happens to be the world's largest English speaking country. Do you guys know which I am speaking of? No cheating, please. The world's largest democracy, which is also the world's largest English speaking country. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Okay. Sorry, Miss P-Tox. Next, anybody? The world's largest democracy, which is also the world's largest English-speaking country. That might explain some things. And so, being a publication that is originally in English, it's no wonder that when Time Magazine, which has been around for decades, puts out a thing like the 100 most influential people, Europe's not a country. England, there's only 66 million people in England. Okay. You guys are about as bad as William with geography. Come on, somebody. Thank you so much, Diane Hawkins. World's largest English-speaking country is India. It also happens to be the world's largest democracy with over 1 billion people. So if Time Magazine, a American, a United States magazine, which is based language is English, just imagine how many people in India actually read Time Magazine, let alone in English. So if you have a big vote for the most influential person in the world, you just may come up with Shah Rukh Khan. That's right, Shah Rukh Khan. He has 39 million followers on Twitter. So not only is he a great actor, not only is he very popular, but he has a lot of followers. So even though I'm pretty sure most people in India know of the great work that Harry and Meghan has done, they say that Shah Rukh Khan has had a very, a big comeback with his career and everything. So I would say that the 57-year-old actor is at the height of his popularity right now. That if you wanted to just try to dissect why he is so high in the pecking order, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. So there you go, you guys. And that's it for our geography lesson for today. I keep telling you guys, I'm not just a pretty face. It's a couple things I'm current on, but I'm not just a pretty face. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, I want to change my profile picture. How do I do that? I have a really nice photo that I've taken, but you can see some gray whisker hairs coming out, and I'm just like, maybe I'll do that next time. So there you go. There you go. I was over 50 in this photo. Shh. So, yeah, all right, for 50 and brown, right? Or I'm sorry, 50-ish and brown. Nathalando Niandani says, thank you very much, Baron, for giving us a platform to show our gratitude to the Sussexes for their work toward the improvement of humanity. How beautifully put is that? That is absolutely wonderful. I love the way you said that. Improvement of humanity. I love it. You get a bell for that. Thank you so much. Uh, yeah, he looks great, right? I believe he's 57. I think he just turned 57 or something like that, but I'm pretty sure he's 57. So, well, he dresses really nice. He sells a lot of movies. He's a big Bollywood actor, and he must be a very nice guy. That's what I hear. I don't know him too well. I may or may not have seen him in a movie before. I don't know. But as you know, Bollywood is huge, and I think that Bollywood, in terms of the movie industry, exceeds even that of China. So, yeah, they make a lot of movies. I've seen a few of the Bollywood movies that I like. Don't remember the name of any of them, but they make some really good movies. So, if you ever get a chance, don't be afraid to check out the Bollywood. Just remember, when the love scene comes, instead of like hitting the sheets, they start dancing. So, um, most of the movies I've seen, they tend to break out and dance. So, um, don't feel embarrassed to watch it with your kids, right? Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Friday to you. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. All right. Uh yes. Thank you very much, Bright Eyes PB&J. Iranian women do deserve, I would say, even the number one spot for their courage, because a lot of the Iranian women literally sacrifice their everything, and in some cases their lives, for the sake of the movement, so that the next generation and the next generation of women won't have to live a life being oppressed by a regime that do not see them as equals in society. So I would even dare say they deserve the number one position. So, um, yeah. Anyway, those are the photos that they gave us for the Time magazine, those 6 photos, and there was a few others, but there were no official photos of Harry and Meghan. So I took a little license myself and just dug into the archive and came up with that for our consideration today. Good call, right? Thank you. Thank you. All right. And so right here it says third and fourth place went to Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, each of whom earned about 1.9% of the vote. That is an incredibly high number. If they got 1.9% around about each, then that lets you know that the number one position probably was just a single digit percentage. So I'm pretty sure that it was probably kind of close for number one and number two position. And to get number three and four, that is absolutely outstanding, considering the amount of competition. And you know what? The Sussex squad, I am convinced that if there was any leading indicator of what made that high number possible, it had to have been the Sussex squad. It just had to have been. So, give yourselves a hand for that, because I'm sure that that's the case. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex made headlines in January after the release of, I'm sorry, the Duke of Sussex. I always think of them as just one person for some reason. I mean, not, but you know what I mean. Um, After the release of his memoir, Spare, which recounts monumental moments ranging from Princess Diana's death in 1997 to Queen Elizabeth's death in September. He is also known for founding the Invictus Games, an international sporting competition for wounded, injured, and sick service people. Meghan Markle, a former actress turned humanitarian, um, now hosts her podcast, Archetypes, where her mission is to investigate, dissect, and subvert the labels that try to hold women back. She previously narrated the Disney documentary Elephants and has been an advocate for anti racism and women's rights. The couple have also launched nonprofit Archwell Foundation as well as Archwell Productions, which has a creative partnership with Netflix. There you go. Eva says, Baron, I was wondering if Harry never married, where would he stand in the royal family? Seems like his brother or father got theirs. What would Harry be living off, and where? You know, I everybody has, and myself included, we've all kind of subscribed to the if Meghan hadn't come along, the Princess Margaret model, where you are strung along until you're not needed anymore. And in the meantime, there's lots of smoke and drink and whatever other substances to pacify you and to keep you, I guess, self medicated to deal with what your family is giving you. So in the series The Crown, Princess Margaret, now, of course, it was all fictitious, right? But there was a scene where Princess Margaret um, was drifting into a pretty chemically dependent life, whatever the chemicals, alcohol or the nicotine from her cigarettes, and I won't speculate anything else. But that was what she was drifting into. Late night parties, lots of lovers, possibly. And so at a certain point, she finally cleared herself up, cleaned herself out, and she was ready to do some work to help out her sister, to help carry the burden of monarchy, right? And so, in that scene of The Crown, um, Queen Elizabeth and one of the courtiers, instead of Margaret just meeting with her sister to have a discussion like sisters often do, the courtier was invited. And so when Margaret said, you know, hey, I'm ready to pitch in and to tuck in and help and be a part of this mission of the royal family to uplift the British people, the Queen just kind of looked a bit, you know, tongue tied. And so the courtier stepped in and said, well, you know, the younger royals will do that, and we don't really have a need for you right now. Thank you so much, but thanks, but no thanks. And so, of course, at that point, Margaret was heartbroken and she was pretty much cut adrift and had to, you know, deal with the sloppy seconds compared to the younger royals, especially in particular Charles, who was the presumed Prince of Wales. And so she didn't have anything to do, and she just drifted back into her usual Margaret. So that is likely what would have happened to Harry. Harry would have been dependent upon his father and eventually his brother for money, for guidance. It would have been the ultimate, like, brainwashing, more so than probably what has already taken place. But he wouldn't have had much license or autonomy with his own existence. That would have been for other people to decide. And as Harry said to Oprah, when they would ask him to go places nobody else in the family wanted to go, he said, well, you know, you don't really think about it when they say why don't you go? You just go. Whether or not you want to, you just do it. It's part of your duty. So I hope that was helpful. But remember, that scene from The Crown was supposedly fictitious, but based on actual accounts, I think it sounds very logical because, like mother, like son, I don't believe that Charles is very good at confronting people unless it's someone that, can't hit back. And I don't think that he's very good at supporting people. He always lets down the people that are closest to him. He doesn't protect anyone near and dear to him. And I imagine that at some point in time, that even Camilla may find that she may not have his full support. So time will tell. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. And thank you so much for your comment. BW, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Baron, wishing you and all squaddies a happy Easter. Yes, thank you very much. Happy Easter to you as well. Okay. And by the way, thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's move on. Diane Hawkins says, without Meghan, Harry would have eventually shared a curbside with my Carol Middlefinger, sharing the same brown sharing the same brown bag, paper bag. Yeah, exactly. I could imagine that. Yeah, just kindred spirits, or spirits, of course, being the operative word. But yeah, it would have been a disaster for him if he would have found himself stuck with that family and without anyone strong enough to give him options when he needed it the most. That was the model for him, was to just stay within the firm, do as you're told. And this is why William was so abusive, is because William has been indoctrinated with this mindset that Harry is to do what you say. Harry is your subordinate, right? And he's supposed to listen to you and uplift you and support you, and you're not supposed to think for yourself. I mean, why else would William say, you have to get rid of the beard? You can't have a beard. I had to get rid of mine. You got to get. And I'm pretty sure, as awkward as that may have seemed for Harry, but for the fact that he had had an awakening, but for the fact that he was truly in love, he probably would have shaved. But as Harry said in the book, the beard was very important because it was a reminder that he has changed, and that was very necessary as part of his new identity. And it was a new identity. He had changed. He wasn't, the patsy for the family anymore. It's unfortunate that Charles threw his brother under the bus, and now we have to see how things play out after the coronation, because William not worry about anything. He was left with, yeah, he's a billionaire now. He's a billionaire. And then it turns out that the Duchy of Cornwall is actually far more profitable than the Duchy of Lancaster. The Queen's Duchy of Lancaster, I could imagine that some of the Queen's money, I'm only speculating, I don't know this to be true, but I could imagine that some of the Queen's money may have been shaved away over the years by whoever managed her portfolio. I mean, the Duchy of Lancaster, the Duchy of Cornwall operate pretty much in the same way, in that they own properties, they have investments in other companies, and it's an investment portfolio, right? And I'm pretty sure that whoever manages that for the Queen may have helped themselves, because it hardly stands to reason. Well, of course, Charles was very active with his Duchy of Cornwall, whereas the Queen, I don't know how much input she, and I'm just speculating. I don't know 100%, but yeah, William is a billionaire now. Thank you again for your comment. All right, so let's move on. Goonies never say die. Harry would have been stuck kissing their behinds had he not left with his wife. What a tragic existence. I believe Harry's life resumed when he met Meghan. He was just surviving after his mom died. Yeah, he was just pretty much existing, not really thriving, but just existing. And that's pretty sad. Okay, so let's get to this. Now, I didn't do anything to make this image of the Queen absolutely frightful. That was the way I found it, looking absolutely frightful. The Queen, and of course, the queens before her, have amassed quite a monumental amount of treasure, jewelry, and other artifacts. And that being said, the Queen, the royal family, and now Charles for that matter, got to be one of the wealthiest people on the face of the earth. The Duchy of Cornwall, the Duchy of Lancaster, they own a great deal of property in the United Kingdom. So they're sitting pretty. They are loaded. They are land rich, cash rich, rich. They're astronomically rich. You always hear how they say, "Oh no, it's the this sultan or that family or this family. Oh, it's got to be the whatever family." Well, I'm telling you, those Windsors are loaded. Even though they pretend otherwise, they are absolutely um, weighing themselves down with wealth, insurmountable wealth. You just haven't seen the likes of it. Um, they're doing good. They'll never go hungry, that's for sure. So, with that being said, oh, okay, sorry about that. There was a little echo there. With that being said, I'm opening up another screen, of course, so I can see what you guys are seeing. Okay, there we go. Very cool. Thank you for your patience. All right. So, as you know, The Guardian has been digging into their business. They have been like taking a deep dive into the finances of the British royal family. They have been looking at how they have acquired so much in 1,000-year history of that institution. And as doing so, the historian has made quite a few enemies, including the that rootin' tootin' Dan Wooten. He is furious with this lady, and I'll talk about her a little later. But let's get to the fun part of this, shall we? Well, let me find it. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's it. Okay.
File from India Office Archive details how priceless items were extracted from colony as trophies of conquest. 5 years ago, Buckingham Palace marked its summer opening with an exhibition celebrating the then Prince Charles's 70th birthday, with a display of his favorite pieces from the royal collection, Britain's official trove of items connected to the monarchy. The prince had a very, very strong hand in the selection, the senior curator said. Among the sculptures, paintings, and other exhibits was a long gold girdle inlaid with 19 large emeralds, once used by an Indian Maharaja to decorate his horses. It was a curious choice to put into the exhibition in light of the violent means by which it had come into the hands of the royal family. As part of its Cost of the Crown series, The Guardian has uncovered a remarkable 46-page file in the archives of the India Office, the government department that was responsible for Britain's rule over the Indian subcontinent. It details an investigation, apparently commissioned by Queen Mary, the grandmother of Elizabeth II, into the imperial origins of her jewels. The report, from 1912, explains how priceless pieces, including Charles's emerald belt, were extracted from India as trophies of conquest and later given to Queen Victoria. The items described are now owned by the monarch as property of the British Crown. A journal records a tour in 1837 of the Punjab area in North India by the society diarist Fanny Eden and her brother George, the Governor-General of the British Raj at the time. They visited Ranjit Singh, the Maharaja in Lahore, who had signed a treaty of friendship with the British 6 years earlier. The half-blind Singh wore few, if any, precious stones, Eden wrote in her journal, but his entourage was positively drowning in them. So plentiful were the Maharaja's gems that he puts his very finest jewels on his horses, and the splendor of their harness and housing surpasses anything you can imagine, she wrote. Eden later confided in her journal, "If ever we are allowed to plunder this kingdom, I shall go straight to their stables." 12 years later, Singh's youngest son and heir, Duleep, was forced to sign over the Punjab to the conquering forces of the British East India Company. As part of the conquest, the company did indeed plunder the horse's emeralds, as well as Singh's most precious stone, the legendary Koh-i-Noor diamond. Today, the Koh-i-Noor sits in the crown of Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, on display at the Tower of London, and it has become an emblem of Britain's tortured relationship with its imperial history. Anita Anand, a journalist and historian who co-wrote a book titled Koh-i-Noor on the Diamond, said it was a beautiful and cold reminder of British supremacy during the Raj, the period between 1858 and 1947, when India was ruled by the Crown. Its facets reflect the fate of a boy king who was separated from his mother, Anand said. The stone, too, was taken far away from his home, recut and diminished. Anand said, "That is not how India sees itself today." Buckingham Palace is plainly aware of the sensitivities surrounding looted artifacts. After the Indian government let it be known that for Camilla, the queen consort, to wear the Koh-i-Noor at Charles's coronation would elicit painful memories of the colonial past, the palace announced she would swap it for a less contentious diamond. But, as was discovered by Queen Mary, the Koh-i-Noor was not the only gem taken from Singh's treasury to have found its way to the British monarchy. Among the jewels identified in the document found by The Guardian is a short necklace of 4 very large spinel rubies, the largest of which is a 325.5-carat spinel that later came to be identified as the Timur ruby. Its famous name is erroneous. Research by the academic Susan Strong in 1996 concluded it was probably never owned by Timur, a Mongol conqueror. And it is a spinel, a red stone similar to, but chemically distinct from, a ruby. Elizabeth II was shown handling it in the 1969 BBC documentary Royal Family and was clearly acquainted with the myths surrounding it. The history, of course, is very fascinating. It belonged to so many kings of Persia and Mughal emperors, until Queen Victoria was sent it from India, she observed. The Queen was never pictured wearing the item. However, she may have worn another of the Lahore treasures, identified in the India Office report as a pearl necklace consisting of 224 large pearls. In her 1987 study of royal jewelry, Leslie Field described one of the Queen Mother's most impressive 2-row pearl necklaces, made from 222 pearls, with a clasp of 2 magnificent rubies surrounded by diamonds that had originally belonged to the ruler of the Punjab, almost certainly a reference to the same necklace. In 2012, Elizabeth II attended a gala festival at the Royal Opera House in London to celebrate her Diamond Jubilee. Photographs showed her wearing a multi-string pearl necklace with a ruby clasp. Were these Ranjit Singh's pearls? There was speculation they may have been, though Buckingham Palace was unable to confirm either way. Queen Mary's interest appears to have been prompted by curiosity about the origin of some of her pearls, rather than any moral concern about the manner in which they were obtained. But a Buckingham Palace spokesperson said slavery and colonialism were matters that His Majesty takes profoundly seriously. Shashi Tharoor, formerly an undersecretary at the United Nations and currently an MP in India, said, "We have finally entered an era where colonial loot and pillage is being recognized for what it really was, rather than being dressed up as the incidental spoils of some noble civilizing mission. As we are seeing increasingly, the return of stolen property is always a good thing. Generations to come will wonder why it took civilized nations so long to do the right thing."
So, like I said, I didn't do anything. This was the work of the illustrators, the artists at the Guardian that made this. But I have to tell you guys, the Queen looks dreadful. I don't know what this vendetta is that they have against the royal family at this time, but they have been giving them the 1-2 punch. And of particular interest for me is this jewelry collection that they have. BW says, I hope Harry does go to the coronation. He will have to pledge his felty, is it felty, to Camilla? How would that look after what she did to Diana? So the felty, is that like a portion of the ceremony? Okay, now I do remember from watching the documentary that there's like a certain point where all of the aristocrats would put their coronets on, and and they would do a pledge. So yeah, I guess that makes sense. I didn't know it was called a felty. A felty. Okay, that is my word of the day, felty. Huh. Let me look that one up. I want to see what it means. Felty, felty. Okay. Okay, it's a feudal tenant or vassal sworn loyalty to lord. They owed fealty to the earl rather than the king. That is how it's used. So they owed a fealty to the lord rather than the king, meaning, of course, I'm sorry, to the earl. Okay, so that's what the fealty is. It's a tenant. The fealty tenant or vassal is a oath, a sworn loyalty to the lord. They owed fealty to the earl rather than the king. Okay. The noun fealty is another way of saying loyalty or faithfulness. Your sister will allow you to join the secret club meeting in her treehouse only if you first promise fealty or fealty. I hope I'm saying it right, to the other members. Interesting. I'd never heard that before. But I probably would probably just say oath. I don't know if I would have that anywhere. That is one word that does not exist in my vernacular. Did I just say a big word? Lord have mercy, it must be Friday. Thank you so much, BW, and thank you for the super chat. And let me see, who else did I see here? Tina Taylor, thank you so much, Tina Taylor 247. Thank you for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. So lots of comments I'm going to have to skip past because I'm getting so far behind. And I told you it always sounds, oh, it's the filthy. The filthy. Okay, that sounds like something Rihanna sells in her company. Would you like to buy one of these filties? I sure would. All right, so there are the jewels once again. So the girdle, as they call it, is the one with the emeralds. And then, of course, there is the Koh-i-Noor, which is the large diamond that you find there in the crown. And then the red thing there is a necklace. It's not a ruby, but I forget what they called it. And those are those pearls. So there is a huge amount of jewelry in the royal collection. And there are some pieces that people have not seen for years. You know, I would imagine that just as some people have a walk in closet for their clothing and such, they must have like a walk in vault that holds the jewels. And not all of those, I mean, you wouldn't refer to those as the crown jewels. Those are just the royal collection jewels. Baron, they said they won't ask for pledges from the Dukes this coronation. Well, that's a good idea, Rosalind Gatewood. You know why? Because I think most of them are not invited. There's a lot of the aristocrats that are not invited. When the Queen's coronation took place, there was some 8,000 people in the Westminster Abbey. I believe that was the figure, 8,000 people. Now, one of the reasons why that was possible is because they really didn't care about a fire code. And number two, they also used temporary seating arrangements. In other words, they had erected bleachers. If you look at some of those old illustrations of coronations from the past, you'll notice that there are like levels of seating that otherwise doesn't exist. And then, of course, up in the side aisles of the Westminster Abbey, there's also, you know, way up there above the stained glass windows and such, there's other areas where people could actually view the proceedings downstairs. There's like a surplus of space just beneath the roof of the Abbey that I believe they have only just opened to the public. Not as much space as you would imagine, certainly not mirroring the amount of space on the ground floor, but it's hard to believe, but I do believe the figure was about 8,000 people were in the Westminster Abbey for the Queen's coronation. Pat Williams, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Good Friday to you. I suppose the best place for it would be the St. Paul's Cathedral, but for a lot of reasons, they have to do it at the Westminster Abbey. That's where those things take place. It's part of the tradition. And if you take a look here, now I'm not going to go into this one that much, but it appears that the Queen had a bunch of horses, and those horses some were gifts, and some of the gifts that she received came from some pretty shady characters. Not to say that this guy is shady, but I'm just saying, in general, she received a lot of jewels and horses, among other things. The royals love to receive gifts. Ooh, Pam Porter, what is this one? Maybe The Guardian has begun the process of deprogramming the British public. Ooh, I like that. The people have accepted a monarchy and a class system based on birth for 1,000 years. It will take time. Come on. I like that. I like that. Ooh, squatties are on fire today. Hey, Shelly L. Francia Mosley says the abuse of Harry and especially Meghan has pulled back the curtain on the royal family and shattered the myth of the fairy tale. Yes, I say true, true, and true. Absolutely. And there's no turning back. Now, I would just want to say this much. They are blaming the Sussexes for the younger generation. What is the guy's name from Newsweek? Is it Royalston or whatever his name? I saw him on Good Morning Britain trying to blame things on Harry and Meghan because the young people are just not so interested in the royal family. And I believe the words that he used is that it's like a time bomb that is ticking away. In other words, the older generation is dying off, and that unwavering support that they received from the greatest generation, well, that's almost all gone. Most people who lived through the Second World War, a lot of them are gone. And then, of course, there are the people that are part of the post-war Britain. Well, of course, post-war things were tough, but then at a certain point, there was an incredible amount of prosperity. Well, that is starting to dry up. And so that generation, still mostly royalists, but again, baby boomers are fewer in numbers than, say, 10 years ago. So they don't have that to depend on. And so Generation X, Gen Z, the younger they are, the less they are likely to believe in this idea of monarchy, or in other words, the unelected head of state. That is a non starter for a lot of these young people. And I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I don't really care either, but it's very time sensitive for the royal family, and eventually, like what's his name, Royalston, he said it's like a time bomb that they are going to lose the support that they have or that the queen has enjoyed all of these years. That is slowly eroding away, and they will have the younger people to try to amuse. And we all know that the young people are just not so into them. Like a dating movie. I'm just so not into you. You know what I'm saying? So, oh man, this is going to be very interesting. Now, I know some of you guys have said that you're not going to watch the Coronation, and I totally respect that. I'm going to watch it because of what I do. But I will let you know if there's anything interesting. But it's kind of like the Oscars. If something big happens, you'll see it on the replay, right? Right. So protect your own mental health. If you don't feel like watching, don't force yourself to do it just for the sake of it. um, the Queen's funeral, it was a few prayers and then it was over with, and mostly uneventful. A matter of fact, it was uneventful. And even though a lot of people are like trying to build up anticipation about the coronation, it is going to be a big sleeper. Um, it's not going to be 3 hours like the Queen's. It's going to be kind of like a hour-long affair, and then it's over with. I think the only thing that will be interesting is the procession, if you're into that sort of thing, and then the wave at the balcony. But other than that, I think like most people in Britain, what is it, 52% are just not interested. They don't care. And even more so, I think 67% want them to pay for it. So if that's any indication of what the interest is in the coronation, then I say protect your mental health and avoid it. Uh, Newmarket King Charles to sell 14 of the Queen's horses. Well, that happened. So one of the squatties up there says not even a month after the Queen died, King Charles was already selling off her horses. Turns out the royal family made almost £2 million from the sale of gifts given to the monarch. But then again, they were raiding her jewelry before she had even been moved to her deathbed. I think that's a little exaggeration, but I get the point. And then, of course, it says there last month, the German magazine Der Spiegel said it had found state papers documenting how the Queen. Now, I wasn't able to verify this. I'm just saying in advance. I could not verify this. Had asked for 2 horses as gifts while on state visit to West Germany in 1978. Country's president approved the gift in the interest of good relations, despite it being the most expensive gift given to a visiting head of state since the end of the Second World War. Now, I did not have a chance to verify that. This is just something that was contributed on the social media, and I could have verified it, but that would have taken some time because all I have is that little snippet right there. But if that is true, I'm going to say if that is true, just wow. You know what I'm saying? It almost sounds like extortion. Almost. I'm not accusing the Queen of having it using extortion, but picture it. Post-war Germany, right? Germany is trying to rebuild its reputation. It is trying to take its place back on the world stage. And as I told you guys before, one of the most important roles that the Queen had was to bolster politicians in other countries. So, whether or not you like monarchy, whether or not you are a fan of the Queen, one thing is for sure politicians loved the Queen. They loved to have their photos with the Queen. It helped to bolster their position, their image. They seemed more stately if they could host the Queen. And just like royals going back 1,000 years, the Queen also required a gift. And sometimes a gift or several gifts was considered polite. And so they obviously gave her something. I suppose it was horses. And that type of gift in post war Germany seems rather excessive. But then again, the economy in what at the time was West Germany was booming. I mean, Germany came back from the Second World War and is now the largest economy in continental Europe. As a matter of fact, the largest economy in Europe. So they have come a long way since the Second World War. Nowadays, they could more than well afford to do something like that. But that kind of gesture back in those days, I have to imagine, must have hit their budget kind of hard. But that is what was required if you wanted to have a chance to elevate your profile and have the Queen appear at your state dinner. So there you go. Let's see. Naomi Maria says, yes, the last of the colonials are on their last legs. They won't be around for Willie and Kate when Willie gets his turn to reign because those are his fans today. Thank you so much, Naomi Maria. I had to say that like Mommy Dearest. Remember, she said, why can't I get the respect that you give to a stranger on the street? And Christina goes, because I'm not one of your fans. I haven't watched Mommy Dearest in a while. You'd be disappointed if I told you I was rooting for Joan Crawford in that movie. I couldn't stand that Christina. Let's see. Karen says, oh, that's for Mo. Let me see here. No, that's not for me. Diane Hawkins says, Hamilla was the Antique Roadshow trying to price a heavy silver box. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. Oh man, face to face with Camilla, and she's holding out that silver box. I tell you what, if I was an antique dealer and Camilla stood in front of me holding the silver box, I to this day I couldn't tell you what the box looked like because my eyes would have been fixated on something so otherworldly, if you know what I mean. I probably wouldn't recognize the box if you handed it to me the next day. I'd be like, where you get that from? I don't remember a silver box. Yeah, I probably could not give you the least detail of the box. My mind would have been locked on something else I had just seen that was somewhat unusual. So, Queen Elizabeth and the horses, a gift from Germany for 60,000 euros. Interesting story, huh? Baron, what is the difference between Lizzie Chucky taking money from the Arab Kings and Jared Kushner taking billions from MBS? Um, there isn't much difference as far as I'm concerned. Now, I believe either way you're supposed to report it. Now, in Jared's case, he wasn't, he was, uh, okay, he was given security clearance. That much I remember. But I don't remember what role he had at the White House per se. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't think that was illegal. If it was illegal, we will find out soon. But I think it may have been immoral. I think it may have been kind of tacky. But one of the things that is supposed to be well, I don't know if it's illegal or if it's just a issue of protocol, but it is not done. I'll say it's not done. Usually, presidential candidates do not hold political events at the White House, right? Trump did. Presidential candidates usually would put their, actually, presidents would put their companies in a blind trust so that there's no conflict of interest. Trump did not. And of course, Trump actively hosted world leaders at his hotel in Washington at inflated prices, something that we've never seen out of a president of the United States. I could sit here all day and tell you stuff that Trump did that either wasn't supposed to happen or never happened, and we could stay at this all night. And so I'm going to say whatever Jared Kushner did was probably at the very least tacky and immoral. And of course, a breach of tradition and protocol. But as for illegal, I'll leave that one to the courts. I guess Congress would have to like do whatever oversight with that. But there was so many things, which is what made Trump's grift so effective, is that you didn't know which way to look. It was so much gaslighting, you didn't know which way to look. He sowed so much confusion. How could you know? So yeah, this is a good question, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to assume that there's something, you know, wrong about that, but I couldn't tell you if it's going to wind up in jail time. But then again, they may be under investigation as we speak. Oh, let me move on. So that is the benefits balcony. They're making a big fuss about what the royals do. So that is yet another one of those articles that came out today in the Daily Fail. I'm sorry, not Daily Fail, but the Guardian series about the royal family, where they actually did a estimate of how much work they have done, like how many engagements and how much money has been paid to the royal family by the Crown Estate. Oh, sorry about that. Um, it's an interesting article. You guys, I can only recommend to you, like I did yesterday, you need to take a deep dive into The Guardian. It's not just one article. I believe there's been an additional 3 that have come out since last night, maybe 4. Kathy Rose Lou says, no wonder Charlie Boy got his horse, Camilla. Oh, do you? So, are you saying that when the Queen went to Germany, that she may have been trying to find a suitable mate for her son? Oh, that's bad. But thank you so much, Kathy Rose. Oh, hello, Mavis Batson. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Okay. Yes, I love Mommy Dearest. Don't mess with me, fellas. This ain't my first time at the rodeo. That's what she said. Don't mess with me. Okay. Let's move on. All right. So the other one that they spoke about, let me see which article was this. Let me go. There it is. So the royal clan, who let me see who's who, what do they do, and how much money do they get? Okay, that was one story. Then another one was the cost of the crown, what we know so far about British royals' wealth and finances. And then, of course, what are the rules on gifts for the royal family? And then there was the one about all the Queen's horses and their 27 million pound value to the new king. The Queen had 27 million pounds worth of horses. Well, you know, the Queen used to love her horse racing, and there was only a handful of things where the Queen actually looked like she was warm, friendly, and somewhat animated. And horses and dogs were usually the things that excited her. Dog and pony, dog and pony. Those are the only things that ever seemed to excite the Queen. Other than that, she always seemed, pretty aloof and somewhat bored with everything. So, reveal U.S. historian researching royal slavery leaks criticized those fawning over the Queen after her death, said Her Majesty bent to public pressure, and accused the monarchy of failing Meghan Markle after she married Prince Harry. So, who is this American historian? Well, there she is right there. As a matter of fact, she's been tweeting because suddenly her name is everywhere. Daily Mail giving us 100 more reasons to love Dr. Brooke Newman, U.S. historian leading research into slavery links, is an anti-royalist. She's an anti-royalist. And so if you take a look there on the upper right, you can see somebody has gotten his bee in the bonnet. And that, of course, is Dan Wooten. Dan Wooten says that she is putting Charles into some kind of trap, that he has fallen into the trap of this woman who, because of her research, has caused him to want to look into slavery and the British royal family history. So, um, and of course, how they have built themselves up economically because of slavery. So Brooke Newman actually watched the video. She allegedly was invited to appear with Dan Wooten. Of course, she refused. And she says, laughing my butt off, the American academic's mission to destroy the monarchy led to her work as a historical consultant with British born comedian John Oliver in November 22, helping the lefty liberal presenters script Republican attack lines. Now, when he says Republican, of course, he means the British Republic movement as opposed to an American Republican, so that you guys understand, he's not referring to the Republican Party in the US. He means the Republic movement to rid Britain of the unelected head of state and to rid the unelected members of parliament. All right, so, and then the last tweet down there, Brooke Newman says, getting slammed by the UK tabloids for being a good historian and presenting the receipts that provoked a response from King Charles. Being linked to the brilliant John Oliver is about as good as it gets for this historian from Texas. Uh-oh, she's from Texas. Ah, I wonder who else is from Texas. I would say, but I don't think I have enough. I don't think I have enough information. So, I don't have enough. Yeah, I don't have enough information. So, I can't tell you who else is from, excuse me, Texas. But she's from Texas. And as they say, don't mess with Texas. But like I say, I think I'm in love. There's just something about her that is so special. uh, it is so special. And I just want to make sure that I uplift and support her in any way I can to do the work that she's doing so that she can answer a few questions. Not those 5 questions from Kate, but, real questions like how much did the royal family make from the slave trade? How does it benefit them today? And so on. So, yes, I think she's rather fit. There you go. I think she's rather fit. I think she's fit for purpose, and it looks like she's fit to take on this institution that seems to uphold those right wing, alt right values. So there you go. That is the person that everybody is talking about. The tabloid media, they're losing their mind over her. I promise you, they are losing it. I found all of the important work my former student do out on the world, but today I am especially proud of Dr. Brooke Newman and this project. King Charles signals first explicit support for research into monarchies' slavery ties. Huh. You guys, I think this is just huge. Now, I hate that we have to wait 3 years to see the results of this, but that I'm sorry, they had me when they said she worked with John Oliver. I mean, seriously. So if you take a look on the right side, it says the royal family should apologize for their links to slavery before they are embarrassed into doing so. The current royal family can never fully atone for their ancestors' action, but issuing a formal apology and reaching out to the Caribbean Reparations Commission for guidance on next steps is a wise place to start. Okay? Okay? That is a good place to start. Are you guys liking her? Because I am. King Charles signals his first explicit. Yeah, I got that one already. But yeah, so there you go. The Guardian has been on fire. They have been on fire. So I'm telling you guys, please go to the Guardian and take a look at a few of those articles. And remember, I read that already, but here it goes again. Getting slammed by the UK tabloids for being a good historian and presenting the receipts that provoked a response from King Charles, plus being linked to the brilliant John Oliver, is about as good as it gets for this historian from Texas. Ha! Ha! I like her. So that is how this latest, I guess, hysterics from the British tabloid media, I guess this is how it all started. I'm excited to talk remotely about my upcoming book, The Queen's Silence, and research into the British monarchy links to slavery next week on Wednesday, April 12th at 10:30 a.m. as part of the Slave Legacy History Coalition's speaking series. Free link to register. Now, did I put the link here? I'm going to have to get that link for you guys later. But she has a speech in. She's having a speeching. I'm sorry, let me try that again. She has a speaking engagement coming up soon, and it's on the 12th where she's going to talk about this stuff. Not a speeching, a speaking engagement. See what I get for making fun of Barbara Walters? Okay, you guys, let's get on to this one. Expelled, not expelled, expelled. Do you guys know anything about these people from the Tennessee House of Representatives? Well, there was a big protest in Tennessee and the House of Representatives there. They were protesting the school shooting. And so as the crowd poured into the chambers, all three of those people you see on the screen began to protest right along with the crowd. Well, the mostly Republican, mostly right-wing Tennessee House of Representatives voted to expel them, which is unusual, but they were voted out by a 2/3 majority of people in the Tennessee House. And I have to tell you, they do bear a striking resemblance to the Mod Squad. Now, I'm not sure that they are as tough as the Royal Sussex Mod Squad, but I have to say they all have some pretty cool hair, right? I'm loving the hair. So the modern day Mod Squad, they actually voted to, the Tennessee House voted to rid themselves of the two African American men, but the blonde was allowed to stay. So she's still there. Now, not only were a lot of people crying racism that the Tennessee House decided to remove the two African American gentlemen, but also the third person in that photo, the person in the center, should I say, she also screamed racism that her colleagues were removed from the House. So Justin J. Pearson is the name of the young man with the afro, Tennessee State Representative, District 86. If you guys want to look him up, join the justice movement. We will not stop. We will not give up. We will continue working to build a nation that includes, not excludes, or unjustly expels. People power will always prevail. So join us at votejustinj.com. The link is in our bio. So that is what he posted today. Unfortunately, I don't think I have anything for the other guy. So, hello to who is this? Travel Camel. Let me see here. Good day, Baron and Squatties. Wishing you all a reflective Easter Friday. So happy to be able to make a live podcast. Well, I'm glad you're here also, and thank you so much for being here. And happy Good Friday to you too. Okay. Shirley Kearney says, Baron, everyone with good sense see what that is all about is because of their skin color and being Democrats. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Thank you for your comment. Diane Hawkins says, the good doctor makes up for Texas unleashing Governor Abbott and Ted Cruz on the world. Not all Texas moms shun prenatal vitamins. Well, thank you for that, Diane Hawkins. Yeah, Texas is slowly turning blue. Right now, they're kind of like a reddish purple, if that makes sense. But pretty soon, they're going to be like a bluish purple. And then eventually, they're going to go blue. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Oh, but my goodness, it gets hot in Texas. I don't know why anybody would want to be there during the hot season. It's hot in Texas. Hot. I mean, I couldn't stand it. It was so hot. Okay. So I'm going to move on. The new UK accountant son loses is 127 million due to legal costs, while Times titles double profits. Much of the losses at the Sun publisher news group newspaper were down to provisions made for legal cases. And that's the best way to deal with people. You got to hit them in the pocket. So right there, you can see the Sun. That is the paper that is losing. But the Times, their fortunes seem to be on the rise. Sun publisher sets aside 120 million pounds. So they assume, they're hoping that as a result of the case brought about from Prince Harry, Doreen Lawrence, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, Elton John and his partner David Furnish, and let me see, who else is it? Elizabeth Hurley, and then some other actress, I can't remember her name, but combined, they hope that 127 million pounds is enough to settle the case. And I'm wondering if they're throwing that figure out there, hoping that that's all the damages they're going to have to pay. Plus, I think that 127 million pounds is not only for Prince Harry and the rest of them, but I think that's to cover some other. They have had so many court cases like you wouldn't believe. I mean, just it's over. I think the figure was like over 1,000 in 1 year. Have I got that right? But my goodness, how could I can't even talk. I can't even talk. It's outrageous. But they see the potential of profit with their brand of journalism. They see that there's a potential of profit. So there's no reason why they wouldn't push the envelope, so to speak, to make it possible for them to not just report the news, but create it and then wait to reap the benefits from all the clickbait and the sale of the physical newspapers, which we all know are pretty much in the toilet right now. Great strategic move for The Guardian, as the British media tabloid TV have been exposed and unethical. Let's see, especially during the Queen's passing, the time is ripped to step up a legit media outlet, get deep pockets advertiser. Yeah. So the Times is considered to be respectable by most people's assertions. However, we know sometimes they go there with the Sussexes, and there is a gene pool of available writers that seem to find their way to every place on Fleet Street. So eventually they all go rogue, or they've already been rogue. And it's, I'm telling you guys, if you go through and just start looking up the people that write the stories, you're going to see the common link with all of them is more like a missing link. Either that, or it seems like their parents were first cousins or something. They all seem to have a rather bizarre look about them, and it is so icky. That's the only way I can describe it, is icky. The Sun, okay, let me see. I don't see what that says up there. Okay, the Sun more than doubled its pre-tax losses to 127.2 million last year. The News UK stablemate, the Times and Sunday Times, boosted profits by 115% to 73.2 million pounds. Both papers grew their revenue, put down to digital investment paying off, but ongoing legal claims loom over the Sun's accountants, making up the bulk of its losses. The new accounts, that is, from the UK's subsidiaries also revealed Talk TV. You guys remember Talk TV? Made 1.1 million in revenue between its launch on 25 April, or April the 25th, and the end of the financial year on July the 3rd. The losses at the Sun Publishers News Group newspaper were in large part due to putting aside 99.8 million pounds for damages and legal fees for ongoing phone hacking cases. The company also spent 27.5 million pounds in relation to UK newspaper matters. In other words, the further legal fees for cases in relation to the closure of the News of the World in 2011. After more than 1,000 claims have gone through the courts, the High Court heard in March last year there were at that time 52 claims registered against, is that News of the World? With a further 436 claims at the pre-action letter stage and 82 more claims in the pipeline. So, okay, so it wasn't like 1,000 in a year, but by that time it was 1,000. So, wow. Either way, it's still a lot. I better have a sip of water. And so, anytime we discuss those newspapers, I have to get the picture of the vulture out, not to be confused with the consort. That's a vulture. That's a consort. Consort, vulture. Vulture, consort. So don't get those confused. Um, Wait a minute. Did I just confuse the two? Wait, let me try that again. That is a consort, a vulture, and this is a vulture. Consort. That's a consort. That's a queen consort. So vulture, consort, vulture. Wait, no, vulture. There you go. There you go. Either way, they both like to feed on carcasses. Um, they both love a good roadkill. So it's hard to distinguish one from the other. Um, but either way, they both love to feed on lifeless carcasses. And they both have that same wrinkly face with no hair, so that when they're feeding on the carcass, none of the bacteria can get stuck in his fur and feathers and stuff and cause infection. So, a lot in common with the vulture and the consort. Um, Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy! Y'all, Ivy here from Sussex Global, UK. Hello, Ivy here. That never gets old. I love saying that. Hello, Ivy here. So, as I was speaking of Talk TV, sometimes you have to gather you know what. You know what I'm saying? You have to gather people, because if you don't gather them, they will gather you. Okay? You got to get them together. And that's exactly what seems to have happened right here, is that somebody got served. Somebody got served. And let me see, where is the meal? Let me find the meal. Somebody got served. Wait, did I send it over here? Oh man. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Got it. Got it. Got it. So, pardon me while I set this up. Here we go. Here we go.
Spirit of America, shouldn't they be behaving like ordinary citizens? What's your thought?
I mean, they're not ordinary citizens. So that's just intellectually dishonest to try to hold them to a standard that neither the society to which they're living in, nor the public, nor any of you all on this set would actually do. That's just intellectually dishonest, and it's actually quite frankly impossible. So we're not going to act as though all of a sudden they can just shed a title, and so with the publicity or all of it will die. It will not die. They are high profile individuals. At the end of the day, the United States government thought that the visa was fine. I think all of this interrogation is a waste of time. I think that they're quite fine where they are. And I think, it's so many more important things going on in the world than badgering about a visa. Like, come on, he's fine. He's okay. I don't think anyone in this country thinks he's an endangerment. And it happens in other countries as well. And I just think that to continue to belabor this argument, he said drugs 12 times. Okay. When? It doesn't have anything to do with now. They're just battering him. Get over it. Move on.
So as you know, they have been trying to conflate some convoluted they're trying to weave a tale about how Harry somehow has gamed the system, and he has been able to somehow weasel his way into the United States under false pretenses, and he may or may not have answered a question in a way that would inflict as much pain and embarrassment upon his person for the sake of what is the name of that group? The Heritage Foundation. So, after a while, they have to invite someone to appear as a guest or a panelist, so it'll seem as though they are justified in making this case that they're trying to make. And so this young man just told him, said, look, get over it. There's no there. And as you can see, Karen is sitting there with that skeptical look on her face. And I have to tell you, if you watch the actual living, moving video of this exchange, she's not very good at her job. She is, working on television, and I guess that's what she's always wanted to do, but is such a disgusting, despicable way to earn a living. If that's what it takes to get on television, why don't you just go on talk radio or something like that? Because it is so immoral. It really is. And so, this idea of taking Harry down, and then what? What is the point? What is the purpose? How does all of these people in the British tabloid media justify wanting to see Harry and Meghan as unhappy as possible, considering that they're not asking anyone for money? They're not asking anybody to do anything for them from the institution, from the British government. They don't want it. Anything that is required, they will pay for it, including their security. So, what is the point of it? What does the Heritage Foundation need to prove where Prince Harry is concerned? That is a mystery. What is the point? What is their motivation of going after Harry? I don't know. It seems like a fool's errand. Whatever came about with his green card status or whatever application he has for citizenship, if indeed he has one, we don't know. But the State Department is satisfied, or the Department of Immigration is satisfied. Everybody's satisfied. I'm pretty sure that the intelligence agency, whether it's the FBI or Homeland Security, Harry is a high profile individual. This man is correct. They're not like other people. And so there is a profile, a dossier, if you will, of everything Harry and Meghan and Charles and Camilla and Andrew, everybody, including Lord Louis Mountbatten, as we have learned. They have a file on everyone. And so, where that is concerned, they are satisfied that Harry is here legally and lawfully living his life. So, what is the whole point? I don't understand why that's so important to them. You're trying to ruin his life, trying to build up some type of public sentiment and backlash. For what reason? Because I tell you, what you need to do is worry about a historian from Texas who is about to drop the goods on the British royal family. That's who you ought to worry about. You ought to worry about a population of young people who don't see a need or purpose for a British royal family. There's just so much other stuff. And yet they are fixated on Harry and Meghan. The Heritage Foundation, a think tank. Oh. So YM Droid says, Baron, I think that a geriatric silky chicken, it's not a vulture, huh? Okay. So where's the vulture? If that's not the vulture, is that the vulture? No, sorry, still silky chicken. Well, thank you so much for your super chat, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and also thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Let's see here. A lot of messages I'm missing here. Okay, Rosalind Gatewood says, Baron, Baron, that's the problem. They are successful. They underestimate Meghan's ability to handle money. Plus, they never expected Harry's ability to take care of his family. Yes, Rosalind, and take care of his family he has. Harry has been out there pounding the pavement and bringing home the bacon. He has been bringing home the bacon. And I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of people who thought otherwise, like Meghan would have to go out and try to figure out some kind of way for them. But the thing is, I think Harry is actually away from home more so than Meghan. Not work more, but away from home more often than Meghan. And so therefore he has been keeping a pretty high profile in comparison to Meghan, who we only ever see once in a while, which is totally fine by me. So yeah, nothing has gone the way that they expected that it would, and that's good. Keep them guessing, I say. Keep them guessing. Ooh, good point, Myra V. Ozzy Osbourne is from UK. No wonder we ain't heard from his wife. Uh, yeah. Okay, so that. This is just like a little collage of images I put together to go along with their conversation. But yeah, as you can see, she doesn't do mean and skeptical as well as some of the other people. Oh, by the way, you guys, it has been 1 year, as Oprah says when she gets excited. It has been 1 year. A year ago today, we celebrated the Senate historic confirmation of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman to serve as a United States Supreme Court justice. She has brought uncompromising integrity, a strong moral compass, and courage to the Supreme Court. Hear, hear. Yes, she has. Hear, hear. And congratulations to Ketanji Brown Jackson. As a matter of fact, you can see right here, so excited about this moment. You can see on the screen there, it says yes, 53, no, 46. So the yays have it at 53. That was her confirmation, 53-46. And of course, the vice president was on hand just in case she had to break a tie. For those of you non-US citizens, the only official role, are you listening to me? The only official role that the vice president of the United States has is to break the tie in the Senate. They do not run the Senate, they do not control the Senate, but in the case of the exactly 100 senators, if there is ever a tie, then the vice president usually votes in a way that reflects the president's administration. So, just in case it was an even split, then Kamala Harris, vice president of the United States, would have been available to break the tie. But other than that, oddly enough, if the president doesn't want to see the vice president, then that is their prerogative. So every vice president and their role, whether it is Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, who's been vice president, is determined by the president. So that's it. Judy Muscated says, let's see, it says, tell your opinion of Tennessee 3, please, and thanks. Well, they should not have been voted out. Well, at least the two, of course. And I believe they were totally justified in joining the crowd of people that were protesting. Now, of course, the rules are the rules, and it just goes to show that the rules are not consistent, that two of them were voted out and one was allowed to stay. So, yeah, we did discuss this earlier, and I think that it is a total miscarriage of justice that the two young men were kicked out of their House of Representatives there, and the lady was able to stay. And as they cried racism, so did she, and it was unfair, but it's only going to elevate their stature. They could probably be reelected, I believe. So there's a good chance that they will be back. But yeah, I think it's a total shame, and it should have never ever happened. So that is my thoughts about that. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex, Sussex. Black Queen, you just did that to me. I looked over at your comment and I saw ruckus. See what you just did to me? I looked over at your comment and I saw a ruckus, and that's why I said Royal Suckets, ruckus. Oh, Black Queen, what are you doing to me today? I'm not bothering you. You did that to me. I looked over at your comment and it just totally threw me. So since I have it up here, now let's get rid of Uncle Ruckus. He is an alleged criminal who needs to be locked up with his thug wife and orange menace. Oh, man. Oh, my God. That's so funny. I looked over and Ruckus just jumped out of the screen and jumped into my mouth. Just that fast. I looked over and Ruckus jumped right into my mouth. Okay. So, to celebrate this moment, let's do it. Let's do it, you guys.
We've come a long way to Justice Brown Jackson. We came in to celebrate Justice Brown Jackson. We came from Harriet and Sojourner to Justice Brown Jackson. Ida B. Wells and Dr. King. Justice Brown Jackson. Shirley Chisholm. Justice Brown Jackson. Barbara Jordan and Maxine Waters. Justice Brown Jackson. We came here to celebrate Justice Brown Jackson. A black woman on the Supreme Court. Justice Brown Jackson. A beautiful, intelligent woman. Justice Brown Jackson. Justice.
Come on.
On the Supreme.
Come on now.
Court.
That's right. On the Supreme Court. Yes. Karuna Reina, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and a happy Good Friday to you too. Thank you very much. All right, let me see here. So with that, you guys, there you go, 5346, a selfie, and confirmed to the United States Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson. And as Bernice King says, this matters to me. This matters to me. Me and Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson. That matters to me. So very, very good. And of course, there she is amongst the women of the United States Supreme Court, which there are now 5 men and 4 women. So nice going. Joe Biden kept his promise. A promise made was a promise kept. And he said, when I do put someone on the court, it is going to be an African-American woman. And there you go. And it's not change for the sake of change. She is more than qualified for that position. So it wasn't about the sake of change. It was about time, right? It was about time. Judy, thank you so much for the happy Easter to you too. And all the squaddies, thank you very much. And thank you for the super chat. All right. Oh, yeah, that'd be interesting, right? Meghan is the first female president, and King William, Queen Kate are laying the red carpet for Harry and Meghan. Don't make me smile. Don't make me think about the United Kingdom having to negotiate a trade agreement with President Meghan. Don't make me think about that. That is, let me put some lip balm on because I'm starting to smile too much. I want to split my lip. Okay. All right. There we go. And so Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock says 1 year ago today, this is so sweet. I'm going to get emotional. I wrote a letter to my daughter that we had confirmed the first Supreme Court justice who looks like you with hair like yours. The confirmation of Justice Jackson still fills me with great pride for our country, how far we have come, and what we can achieve. Is that touching or what? Does that just tug at your heartstrings? That is so full of emotion. I love it. Yeah, I love that. All right. So now, of course, there is a parallel universe, and I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up, which is interesting because I don't even know what that means, but I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up. So, breaking news, Justice Clarence Thomas defended himself against allegations that he had accepted lavish gifts without proper disclosure. He said he had followed guidance from others at the Supreme Court and believed he was not required to report the trips. So there you go. He was not required. And of course, I'm pretty sure when he receives his articles of impeachment to be filed against Clarence Thomas over explosive reports of his corruption, I'm pretty sure that he and Karen Thomas are going to have a big laugh. They're going to get so tickled. Oh man, yep, it's gonna be it's gonna be one big party, I'm sure. Speaking of parties, don't forget there is a coronation coming up for His Majesty King Charles III, and of course his Her Majesty, not her mistress. Her Majesty Queen Camilla, Queen of the Desert. There's going to be a, party for them on the 6th of May, Archie's birthday. Now, warning, gaslighting detected. Gaslighting detected. Richard Fitzsimmons says, it's Queen Camilla and she's earned it. My column at the Express on the .com, Express, whatever. She's an extraordinary history. She had an extraordinary history. You got that right. And she and King Charles are devoted to one another. So this is the narrative that they have been trying to feed to everyone. And that is this idea that Charles and Camilla, theirs is a love story of the ages. Their love is what fairy tales are made of. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. That's what the Archbishop said at Diana's wedding, is that this is the stuff of fairy tales. You remember that? I saw that back in 1981, and I still remember it today. He said, this is the stuff of fairy tales. Well, I'm pretty sure that he did not see this coming I thought the gargoyles were supposed to stay on the gutters. Anyway, so Richard Fitzwilliam, is part of that curious quartet of Fitzwilliam, Arbiter, Seaweed, and Arbiter. Remember them? These are the ones who lied. Well, he lied talking to Oprah, and he's lying right now. He's always lying about something. Like right here, tourists saw them. William and Harry's security concerns questioned after Queen's visit. He always speaks very grand like that. He was so worried about Harry and Meghan coming to visit the Queen, right? And then, of course, this from a Newsweek poll is excellent news at royal family. A bitter pill for Harry and Kate. For Harry. Kate is now most popular royal in U.S. Gaslight, not gaslight. A YouTuber tricked royal expert into sharing their lies about Meghan and Harry on camera. Now that's true. That's true. So one of these is a lie and one of them is true. The truth is he lied. And of course, like father, like daughter, Ingrid Seaweed, whatever her name is, Vicky Arbiter, and Richard Fitzwilliam, all of them bared false witness and got caught out saying that they saw the Oprah interview and even gave a lengthy response about how they felt about the interview, which they certainly did not see. Oh, by the way, they were paid for their comment. Now, right there, Sophie Wessex boosts royals with huge success in the United States after Meghan and Harry's damage. Sophie is an exemplar of hardworking member of the royal family with a relatively low profile. She does a great deal of good. Lie. Lie. Nobody even knew that she came to the United States. Do you understand me? Oh, wait, I'm wrong. There was one person who knew she was here, the person she met, and maybe a couple of other people. But I want you to see the type of puff. This is the stuff that he does for a living. So when somebody asks me, why are you qualified to talk about the royal family? Same reason Richard Fitzwilliam is. All I have to do is open my mouth and put some words out. That's what he does. They use this as filler for the paper. So it's part of a long-term gaslighting of the public into accepting Camilla. And it has been so effective. What is her approval rating? 38%? 38%. So the writers, the grifters on television, which sometimes he's on television, all of that combined, and Camilla has an approval rating of 38%. Now, this is Josh and Archie, or Archie and Josh. They were the ones that pulled the wool over the eyes of the royal reporters and got them to respond to a Oprah interview, which they certainly had not seen. But they said that, let me see. You know what, guys? I can't remember everything, but I do recall that one of them said that was the best acting that Meghan had ever done. But what was so funny was Josh and Archie asked them about the something donkey wildlife reserve or something like that. Well, Meghan has always cared about animals, and that shelter for animals does not exist. But when they asked all four of them about what she said about a animal sanctuary, they all all of them answered as though that was actually in their interview. I mean, it was epic. And even James O'Brien interviewed them and asked them about how did this take place? Did you pay them more than what you usually pay for a television interview from a royal reporter? And they said, no, we just gave them the standard amount of money. Well, Vicky Arbiter said that she received £300 and that she couldn't cash it because she was so upset because of how they were. How did they put it? Anyway, she put the blame on them for her pretending to have seen an interview which hadn't aired yet. So blame the victim, right? Blame the victim. Well, not that they're victims, but you know what I mean. Blame the pranksters. Ivy says, patrons of mattresses in secret room. That is all those two individuals are good for. They can promote that instead. That 3-day party is an affront to common decency. Well, thank you so much for that, Ivy. Oh, man. I love when Ivy go there. It's always so unexpected. I love it. Let me see here. Is that a super sticker? Yes. Thank you so much, Cher Brown, for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. YM Droid says, Camilla, Queen, come up. Mistress of the stable, ruler of the Rottweilers, Duchess of Disgrace, Lady Lowdown, first of her name, proper titles. I wonder if someone actually slips that into the pile of paper at the Westminster Abbey. I wonder if one of the, the Archbishop? I wonder if we can get the Archbishop to read that out loud. We'll just tell him that it's Old English. Yeah, it's Old English. Yeah, Queen, come up. That is Old English. No, we'll tell him it's Latin, right? We'll just say it's Latin. What about ruler of Rottweiler? That's Latin too. Duchess of Disgrace, Latin. That is Latin. Old Latin. Yeah, we'll tell them that it's a hybrid of Old English and Old Latin. Just read it, old man. Oh, man. But let me see. Since you have gone to the trouble, why don't we, let me see. Is this it? Since you have gone through so much trouble, why don't we do this? Okay. Uh-oh.
That's
you
it for
go.
now.
All right. Thank you so much for that suggestion. Thank you, YM Droid. You always know what to say. And with that, of course, this is how things started. And then, of course, she had to get past the queen. And the one that she seemed to not really have a chance to get to because she got away was the Duchess of Sussex. So, and after going through the three, Diana, the Queen, who didn't even want to see Camilla, and then, of course, the Duchess of Sussex, who I'm pretty sure was pretty neutral with her. But, you know, when a person has a certain inner strength, people recognize that. And I'm sure that that was a worry for Camilla. How am I going to deal with yet another woman? And in particular, a very strong, independent woman who's not going to yield to my usual hijinks. The answer is you don't. Okay. And then, of course, Lady Louisa Windsor to miss out on coronation balcony spot despite parents landing a place. It wasn't enough that they have been harassing the Sussexes with this idea of will they, won't they be on the balcony. Now they're turning on the Wessex children. And then, of course, show some manners, Harry and Meghan, RSVP rather, to the coronation and stop the shameful publicity ploy. That, of course, I think that was from the Times, or was it? Yeah, I think it's from the Times. And then, of course, all Harry has to do is call me. The desperation, I suppose, is going to just go all the way up to the last moment. Buckingham Palace staffers are salty over the Sussexes' late coronation RSVP. It's a headache. Well, you know what else it is? It's Archie's birthday. And if they choose to go, they will go. If they choose to not go, you'll find out very soon. You got 2,000 seats and probably 1 million people who would love to be there. It's not that big of a deal. They may or may not show up. You'll find out in due time. As a cult survivor, I found Prince Harry's spare surprisingly relatable. I didn't even refer to our way of life. I didn't even refer to our way of life as religion because religion could be false. Someone wrote an article about reading Spare, and I only just have a small portion of it here. But isn't it interesting that someone read Spare and thought about a cult that they survived? In his memoir, Harry says of his family, outsiders called us a cult, seemingly unable to leverage the claim directly. It took me a while to use the word too. The dictionary definition of a cult is so broad that almost any group of people aligned around a belief system or leader could qualify. But the dangerous kind of cults share common traits. They are governed by authoritarian control, believing the leadership is always right, and the only source of truth. Followers are taught that they're never good enough. Criticism or questions are forbidden. And most importantly, cults believe there is no legitimate reason to leave the group. That's former followers are always wrong to go. So that's interesting, isn't it? A survivor of a cult read Spare and thought about what they survived. Wow. Very, very interesting. Oh, really? You think they just don't want to say it out loud, huh? Okay. Yeah, I mean, um, and really, it's not Harry and Meghan's place to say we're not coming. Um, an RSVP should be private, right? Especially where security is concerned. So they'll find out on Archie's birthday. That's right. They'll find out on Archie's birthday. Cold War Steve. Cold War Steve. If you guys don't know Cold War Steve is an artist. I believe he's from the UK, and he's famous for these collages of photos. I guess you can call it a collage, where he'll take some very notable and famous people and put them in scenes that seem absolutely implausible, if not impossible, and they are always fun. Like, for instance, you have right here, instead of people trying to migrate for a better way of life or for safety, you have well, anyway, you can see I see Andrew, I see Nigel Farage, and of course Dan Wooten. I see Eamon Holmes, and up there at the top, quietly reflecting. Do you guys see Dan Wooten back there quietly reflecting? So he's in the front, and he's also in the back up there on the top, quietly reflecting. And of course, you can see the one with the afro. Isn't that the one they accused of being a pimp? Remember they had accused him of being a pimp? Oh, there's two Dan Wootens. I just noticed that. There's two Dan Wootens quietly reflecting. Oh, man. So let's see. Baron, is there any way carrier pigeons could be trained to remove the crowns from their heads during the coronation and give the jewels back to India and Africa? I would love to see that happen. If someone just had a nice fish hook that can kind of snatch that thing off her head and off his head, I'd love to see that. Like just in the middle of the service, all of a sudden the crowns just rise up. Or you can put like and I'm not trying to recommend anything, but you could put like, take a drone and put a little hook on the bottom of it, right? Like on a fishing wire, have a little drone fly through the abbey. Of course, in that security field place, that won't happen. So this is Cold War Steve. There's Steve Bannon. There's Nigel Farage. And of course, all the way to the left, I think that's intentional. All the way on the left, you have Donald Trump. All of them in the pokey. And then lastly, I think this is the last one. There is Trump in prison with Rudy Giuliani doing his haircut. And of course, Nigel Farage, Donald Jr., and oh gosh, what is his name? Oh man, I forgot his name. The one with his small car energy, right? And Steve Bannon again. So thank you, Cold War Steve, for these wonderful illustrations. I think they're pretty cool. And with that, you guys, I am so done. Thank you so much for spending your Good Friday evening with us here on Royal Sussex, and wishing you a happy Easter. Okay, very good. Maybe I'll go get that tomorrow. But yeah, wishing you guys a happy Easter, and thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you to the Mod Squad for keeping this a safe space. If there has ever been a safe space, this is the one. So thank you all very much. And also, Thank you, Ivy, for being here. Ivy at Sussex Global UK. Always a warm feeling when I know Ivy's here. Let me see here. Oh, Andrew Tate. Yes, that's his name, Andrew Tate. I could never remember that name. Andrew Tate. I love that look he always has on his face, like, duh. Yes, it's going to be a happy Easter. Thank you, Dorothy Ross, and thanks for the hugs as usual. Okay, so I'm not going to keep you guys. I am going to. I guess I'll do that tomorrow too. I'm always going to do something tomorrow. I think I'll do that tomorrow too. Let me see here. Okay, so we're good. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I guess I'm not. That was the last slide, so that was it. So, as per usual, our queens. Where are our queens? All right, so we always reflect on our queens on the way out. There we go. Our queen of hearts and our queen of just about everything I could think of. And hey, Susie Q. Okay, so with that, then, let's do a Ginger Avenger. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. That is the wrong one. Didn't mean to do that one. Here we go. Here we go. Sorry about that. Oh, wow. I just checked my email. I got a reply from Brooke Newman. Well, not from her, but I got a reply about the the thing I was saying. She's gonna have that she's gonna stream, I guess it is, or something like that. Let me see here. It says, thank you for registering to our event. Thank you for registering. It says that again. And then it says, we're looking forward to seeing you there. Here's the event details. Brooke Newman, Associate Professor of History at Virginia Commonwealth University and author of A Dark Inheritance. And that is April the 12th. So I'm going to have to try to put that on the community tab. So just check that later and I'll see if I can put a link to the event. But yeah, so I'm all registered for the event. And that, of course, is Brooke Newman, who is the historian that has kicked the hornet's nest of reparations with the royal family. And of course, she has expressed her disappointment in Her Majesty the Queen never ever taking any accountability or speaking out about the history of the royal family and their wealth, and especially where slavery is concerned. So I am going to definitely be there for that one. Gosh, what day is the 12th? Let me see. Yes, that is a Wednesday. Yeah, that is next Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So can't wait. Oh, you guys, this is going to, I don't think it is going to be the coronation that's interesting. It's the lead up to the coronation. You know what I mean? Are you guys with me on that one? It's not the coronation that's important. It is the lead up to the coronation that is going to be fun. It is going to be Not My King, Not My King, Neiman Marcus, Not My King. It's going to be Wednesday Addams and her brother Pugsley, whatever his name is. That is what's going to be interesting. All the rest of that stuff is going to be yellow t-shirt guy with his rippling muscles, his incredible pecs and washboard ab. That's going to be interesting. All the other stuff, who cares about the ceremony? So I'm looking for all the messy. I'm looking for the protesters, the vagabonds, the hobos, the ne'er-do-wells. I'm looking for all of those people on the streets of London before the coronation. That is going to be interesting. Chasing away people and removing street lamps and all that other silly stuff they do. That is going to be interesting. So, let me see. Oh, okay. Oh no, that's not for me. Okay, I thought that was for me. All right. Okay, so I did promise Ginger Avenger. Oh, that's what's missing. I forgot the last word of the day. Cookies and Cream says, everyone who has not read or listened to Spare, Audible has a 30-day free trial period. Let's keep Spare number one. And thank you for reminding me, Cookies and Cream. Spare has been number one on Amazon ever since it debuted. It has been number one. So what is this, 13 weeks? It has been number one. So I'm with Cookies and Cream. Let's keep it number one. And Cookies and Cream has the last word of the day. Happy Good Friday, everyone. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Now the Ginger Avenger. Okay. Go, Ginge. Do me a favor. Won't you say what's on your mind? Good night, Elaine Parker. Good night, Connie Balmer. Good night, everybody in a different time zone. Oh, man. Good night. Yes, you can still hear me. That's reassuring. So you can probably hear my chair squeaking. Right? Can you hear that poor chair that is trying to hold up this baby boomer? I wouldn't wish that on an enemy. Squeaking and grinding, and sometimes just seem like the chair is crying. But yeah, poor chair. Po chair. Po chair. Oh man. What a good day today. I think everything went very well. I'm always pleased about that. Fun and yet informative. That is the key ingredients of Royal Sussex. Fun but yet informative. Okay. All right, so you guys, love you. I will see y'all tomorrow. Please don't remind me. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I won't do anything. Maybe that'll be the surprise. I won't even mention that it has been a 2-year commitment of Royal Sussex. Yes, April 15th, 2021. That was when I said, listen, you got to commit to this channel, and haven't missed a day since. That was my commitment. I was not going to miss a day. Oh, thank you, Pam Porter. I'm going to hang in there and I'm going to be consistent. And look at where we are now. 32,000 subscribers later. Over how many viewing hours is that? It's been a lot. And the thing is, okay, so Royal Sussex doesn't have a silver play button. But the thing is, it's people that don't have even half the views that Royal Sussex has, and they have the silver play button. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of channels that have a lot of subscribers, but yet nobody watches it anymore. They're just there. But Royal Sussex has a whopping, are you ready for it? Let me see how many subscribers. Not subscribers, but views. 17.1 million views on Royal Sussex. 17.1 million views. That's a lot. That is a lot. That is far more people than watched Earthflop. That's way more than Earthflop. And also, in terms of watch hours, 3.8 million hours of Royal Sussex has been watched. 3.8 million hours. 3.8 million hours of me singing and belching and burping and snotting and sneezing and occasionally breaking wind. All of that. $13.8 million of all of those disgusting guttural sounds that I make. Sipping and chewing and crunching and pretending like I had to do something important. All of those hours of that, and you guys have been here, and I have to say I am humbled by it. I'm just absolutely humbled. When Royal Sussex first started, I was actually practicing for my, sorry about that. I was actually practicing for my travel channel. But quickly I realized, you know what? If that other person can talk about Harry and Meghan, then I can too. The only thing I haven't done yet is, hello. Yeah, but I was looking at hello. And I said, if hello can do it, I could do it too. And so here I am. And it was because I saw how awful, hello. When I saw how awful he was, I said, yeah, I think I'm going to say something. Plus, Tina and Michelle was like, if anybody wants to start a channel, you should start a channel. I said, well, I could. I could. And by the way, thank you, Lydia Washington has just so happened to mention that there is a wish list for Royal Sussex, which is tied into the Amazon. So it's no obligation. But if you feel like looking at the wish list and you feel like ordering something for Royal Sussex, then there is a wish list available. Thank you, Lydia. But yeah, so that's that. So yeah, we'll have to see what we can do for the anniversary of Royal Sussex. Should be fun, I hope. We'll see. What a busy season this is. Oh well, you guys, I'm gonna go. Thank you all so much. I'm gonna sort out dinner, and then I have to work on another project unrelated to Royal Sussex. So that's why I'm stalling, because I got something to do and I don't feel like doing it. You ever do that? Stay on the phone because you don't feel like doing what you're supposed to do? But I got some stuff that I need to do and I just don't feel like doing it. I'd rather just stay here and talk about Europe or something. But you know what I mean? Because if I get off this YouTube, then that means I got to do something responsible and necessary. And I'm already so doggone tired. I don't feel like doing nothing. You know what I mean? So I guess I got to go and work on something. Oh, God. All right, you guys. Thank you. I have to go and be an adult and do something responsible. I don't feel like it. But I got to go. Bye, you guys. Love you. And see you next time. Wait, did I do Ginger Avenger? Yeah, I did. Okay.